Well, for those of you who might not know me or might not remember me from my previous visits, I'm Congressman Bill Foster. I'm a scientist and businessman, and I'm honored to represent Bolingbrook as part of the 11th Congressional District of Illinois. And I want to thank Dr. Kumar for inviting me to join you again today. I'm really pleased to be returning again this year. And I also want to thank the Bolingbrook Park District for their efforts in establishing and maintaining the Tamil memorial tree that we'll be visiting later. Today we're gathered to remember the tens of thousands of Tamil civilians who died in Sri Lanka in 2009. Events like this are important, not only to honor the memory of those who died, but to make sure that the world does not forget what happened. And I mean that especially for the young children present here who might not even have been born when this happened. And that is why, if we don't take the time to learn from these tragic events, then we're bound to repeat them. And that is why the work of Amnesty International, Holocaust Memorialization, the ITHRG, and the Tamil Memorial Tree are so important. Because it's our duty to remember the horrific events that occurred in Sri Lanka and to do all that we can to stop it from ever happening again. It is, tomorrow I guess, is the 100th anniversary of the birth of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who is the president of my youth. And he is also the president who in his inauguration pledged the people of America. Let's see if I have the quote right here. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we will pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, in order to assure the survival and success of liberty. So that was President Kennedy, but things change in the world. Last week, our current president, in his first speech on foreign soil, spoke for more than a half an hour to foreign heads of state without a single mention of the words freedom, of liberty, or of human rights. And so that is why groups like Amnesty International are crucial to keep up the momentum for human rights when it's not always being strongly supported by elected officials around the world. Because even here in the United States, we have our own dark history of denying individuals from certain groups their most basic human rights. This will never be acceptable. Diversity is a defining feature of our country, and the diversity of our district here and the way we celebrate it is one of the things that I'm most proud of about the communities that I represent. When we see injustices in our world, we cannot turn a blind eye. We must shine a bright light on them. And that's why what we're doing here today as we gather in remembrance of the tragedy that occurred 8 years ago. So I'm proud to stand with you here today to remember those Sri Lankans who lost their lives and to pledge with you as your member of Congress that I will work every day to strengthen the rights of all people and oppose human rights violations whenever and wherever they arise. So thank you all. I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to. As long as the microphone behaves itself, I'm happy.
Anyone have questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Congressman. It's really emotional for me. I'm from Chennai originally, and I'm sitting here. Thanks for Skanda's invitation. But what I hear from Amnesty and everybody is the situation is still simmering in Sri Lanka. We were sitting in India watching everything hopelessly, but now I think as a global entity, what do you think we can do if this can occur again? I don't want to sound pessimistic. I really wish that it would become a true democracy. Might take some time, but the shift of power, China and Russia in the picture, and the way things are going with our, we are considered the Superman of the world, and so we want to be that way, and I don't know how long it will take. So what do you think we can do to prevent it? And because it could really record. I don't want to sound this, I'm a huge optimist, but it's a simmering situation. But do you think as a global international community we can do something, or maybe?
Well, I think right now, we're going to have to depend more on international organizations, frankly, than the traditional support from the United States government does not appear to be as strong as it has been. You know, the, what is the act, the Terrorist Prevention Act, that is, you know, those, you know, terrorism is a scourge, but it's very often also used as a reason to deny basic human rights to entire populations. And so there's a balance that must be struck, and that balance occasionally goes very far off of where it should be in countries. And I think that it's very valuable to have the voices of the entire world express an opinion. When, you know, it was, there was Peggy Noonan, she's a speechwriter for Ronald Reagan, had a column recently where she said, what is the attitude of the rest of the world towards the United States right now? And the answer that she got from an ambassador from Europe was that, well, we think you're still a great country, but we think you are having a nervous breakdown. And that, you know, there's some truth to that. You know, every democracy comes under stress, and when that happens, you tend to retreat into yourself and not pay the attention you should to crises around the world. But, you know, I believe that we will remember who we are as a people, remember the words of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, which are really, to my mind, one of the truest expressions of where our country should be, and that will lead us to do the right thing, you know, for the situation in Sri Lanka.